All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the profound philosophical journey at the absolute heart of Solange L.C. Farrow's novel, The Salt Roads of Heaven. We aren't just looking at a survival story here. We are breaking down a complete masterclass in how we treat human knowledge and, honestly, how we treat each other.
So I want to hook you right away with this breathtaking piece of oral tradition from the novel. It goes, "The road forgives everything except the wish to arrive." Man, it sets the perfect stage for our analysis today. We're tracking the story of Inês. She's a translator who embarks on a massive search for her missing sister Luzia, way up in a high-altitude Andean desert. But what starts out as a physical search, it ends up completely unraveling the foundation of modern academia. It totally challenges our modern obsession with outcomes, data, and, well, destinations.
Part 1. The Call to Walk. Kilometer -40.
Our journey actually kicks off in the humid, super-bureaucratic city of Belém. It's here that this insane, inciting administrative miracle happens. After 11 long years of total silence, Luzia's salt-stained boots just show up in a cardboard box, stamped Found Article. Now, for 11 years, Inês's grief had basically been a piece of furniture she just walked around every day. But these boots, they changed the geography of her life in an instant. Scratched inside the arch of the boots is a cryptic message. Si volviera, corre. If I come back, run. It's not a cry for help, it's a direct instruction. And it's exactly this mystery that propels Inês to trade her comfy desk for the grueling ash and salt terrain of the Camino de las Sales. She just has to figure out what her sister was running from. Right early on the trail, Inês learns about a specific type of pilgrim they call a demorado. It literally means a delayed one. These are people who simply stay on the trail. They don't walk forward to finish it, and they sure don't walk backward to go home. And the fascinating part? The locals don't view this as a failure, not at all. They see it as a very long sense that someone is simply still in the middle of writing. This timeless, totally unhurried reality is a massive contrast to the rigid, deadline-driven institute Inês just left behind. It's kind of our first clue that arriving just might not be the point of this journey.
Part 2. Unlearning the Institute. Kilometers 0 to 114.
So out on the physical trail, the brutal honesty of the ash soil and those endless white salt flats begins to actively erode Inês' bureaucratic mindset. I mean, you can't survive on schedules and grant proposals out here, right? The extreme environment strips away all that noise. It forces Inês to unlearn absolutely everything the city taught her about what makes an experience valuable. By talking to the locals, she uncovers this staggering hidden timeline. Get this, Luzia wasn't lost in the desert for those missing 11 years. She was alive out there for 8 of them, deliberately occupying a completely different existence. She chose to stay rather than report back.
The crucial breaking point happens at kilometer 31. Caught in this sudden, violent hailstorm, Inês looks at a photograph and genuinely forgets which of the twin sisters is her. She writes this down in a shared notebook, saying she forgot her own name and that it felt like, God help her, putting something down. That marks the exact moment the environment totally strips away her academic identity and her need for labels. She isn't losing her mind here. Actually, she's putting down the heavy burden of her institutional self.
To push deeper into the desert, Inês has to pay an emotional toll at the shrine of San Lorenzo. And the local custom is strict. It requires 3 steps. Kneel, say your full name out loud, and state why you have come, not what you want. When Inês checks the shrine's ledger, she discovers something wild. Luzia's entry from 11 years ago has been left wide open. Luzia wrote that she came to listen to the last word of a dying language, and she never closed the entry, because her work wasn't just a transaction.
Part 3. The Blue Door. Kilometer 130.
Crossing into the treacherous, razor-sharp black rock of the Coladas, Inês finally reaches the location her sister point-blank refused to map for the Institute. She finds an abandoned borax assay house, and, just as a hidden note promised, the door is painted this deliberate, striking blue. Inside, she finds a 96-year-old woman named Casimira, along with shelves holding 400 perfectly kept notebooks. Casimira is the absolute last human being on Earth who dreams in the Kunza language. And it suddenly hits Inês. Luzia didn't die tragically on some mapping expedition. No, she spent 8 years simply keeping company with this last fluent speaker, recording a dying language not for some dusty archive, but out of profound, genuine human respect.
Part 4. Witnessing versus taxidermy. The core conflict.
Okay, this is where the novel fiercely critiques academic extraction. It asks us to look really closely at how we interact with information and with people who are fading away. Are we trying to save them, or are we just trying to save data for our own shelves?
See, Luzia stopped sending her linguistic recordings back to the city because she had this massive realization. She realized that pinning a dying language into a lifeless archive while the actual speaker dies completely alone in the desert, well, that's a betrayal. It's what the novel calls a second kind of killing, dressed up as a rescue. She made the choice to be a companion rather than a collector.
Think about our own obsession with productivity and data in today's hustle culture for a second. We so often operate just like the Institute, sterile, deadline-driven, hyper-focused on extracting value and just moving on to the next task. But the Camino, it represents the exact opposite. It's the timeless, humane act of witnessing. It's about sitting with someone, offering them company without a hidden agenda, and just allowing the experience to happen at its own natural, unhurried pace.
Listening to her sister's final, fading cassette tape, Inês hears Luzia explain her choice. Luzia says she would rather fail at simply being a good witness than succeed at creating a highly sterile, very well-organized grief with a library call number. Hearing this, it just clicks for Inês. She understands she has to abandon her old tools entirely. She has to learn how to breathe in this totally new atmosphere of genuine, unstructured presence.
So Inês stays. She literally learns to sit, to just be company, until Casimira peacefully passes away. Afterward, Inês places a 10th stone at a quiet little cairn Luzia had built. And that's it. That marks the unceremonious end of the Kunza language as a living, spoken reality. There are no cameras out there, no press releases, just a quiet, deeply personal acknowledgement that something beautiful has finished its time on Earth.
Part 5. A new kind of fellowship, the anti-archive. Now Inês is faced with a monumental choice. She has 400 notebooks of a dead language, a completely priceless corpus. She could easily bring it back to Sao Paulo, secure her career forever, right? But instead, she leaves every single notebook right there on the shelves in the desert at kilometer 130. She leaves the door unlocked, sure, but she writes a stern warning enforcing a brand new toll. If you want this knowledge, you have to walk here. You have to leave your comfortable office, and you absolutely must stay long enough for the data to become a person.
Armed with the Camino's wisdom, Inês marches right back to the city with a radical plan. She allies with the senior researcher Dr. Faraz to permanently dismantle the Institute's extractive practices. She demands that they stop treating human experiences like mere data points, and instead start funding people to simply stay rather than collect. She actually forces the institution to create something completely unprecedented, the Witness Fellowship. This fundamentally shifts the entire paradigm of learning. It values human company way over raw data, and actual presence over publication. As she puts it, it's for researchers willing to arrive without a deadline for leaving. How amazing is that? I really want to leave you with this provocative thought from today's explainer. In a world that is so incredibly obsessed with data, efficiency, and constantly fixing things, what happens in our own lives when we stop trying to extract or fix? What does it truly cost us to just sit, listen, and genuinely witness the people around us without trying to rescue them? It might just cost us everything we thought we knew, but honestly, it might give us exactly what we've been looking for. Thanks for exploring this with me.